So much juice, in fact, it could actually collapse the grid as it stands now. So there needs to be a lot more energy production. So before this could even come to fruition, they really need to get the energy in order. And there is a way. I'm going to talk about it here at the end of the video. It's called 0 point. What's going on, everybody? Here's the first episode of Band Opinions. Basically, what this channel is going to be about is me giving my opinions on subjects that people don't really talk about too much. Or if they do, I feel they don't highlight all the things that are needed to be highlighted within it. So today, what we're going to be talking about are why EVs are most likely a scam. And there's a few reasons. It's not just one reason, it's not just two. There's a plethora of reasons. So let's get into it. So first of all, what is the whole reason for these EVs, right? Oh, it's to fight carbon, of course, they say. Oh, okay. So when we go look at it, the real stats, this is from every scientific institution in the world, is the environment is comprised of 0.04% carbon. So that's what we're fighting. We're fighting 0.04%. Wow. What a game changer, huh? So there's reason number one right there. So we're fighting a non-threat, okay? It's just propagandized and made to be fearful so that it can manipulate you and maybe charge you to breathe out that carbon dioxide we all breathe out. So literally taxing you to breathe. That's probably the next step, in my opinion. That's my little dog there, a little rock. Not only are we fighting a non-fight, it's probably a scam to tax us to breathe in the future. Number two, the environmental impacts of battery production. So just going and mining the lithium and the cobalt and whatever else is in these batteries, it's very dirty. You got to dig up the earth. You got to use a lot of gas. There's no other way to do it. A lot of diesel, a lot of that bad stuff. All the greenies are saying that are going to take down the planet and the kids. But what do they care? Most of them don't even have kids. So anyways, that's besides the point. So we're digging all this stuff up from the ground saying, oh yeah, this is going to help cut down carbon emissions. But meanwhile, it is also proven that EVs, when the whole manufacturing, the whole ship and shebang is then the car is built, it is more in emissions than building a gas vehicle. So technically, EVs are playing catch up in the game of carbon, the carbon game. So that doesn't make sense. Another one is a lot of greenwashing by corporations and government, spewing out lies, literally saying that this is all much better for you and everything like that. Why? Do they want a control grid maybe? So you just shut your EV off remotely? I mean, there's patents on this. It's quite scary. So just a little tidbit there. Electricity also isn't always clean. In Canada, we're kind of fortunate here. We got a lot of hydro dams, which are about 60% of the hydro up here. But the rest basically comes from coal, oil, and natural gas. Almost about 25% of it. Sure, they're going to do all these green projects, but it's like they do wind. But the windmills, they're not recyclable. They don't pay for themselves, and they cost millions of dollars. And they're only good for like 10 years. And who knows all the harm they do to the birds and everything like that. So there's that. Then we also have battery degradation. So much like your cell phone, every time you plug it in, it kind of kills the battery a little bit. Doesn't make much sense, right? So you're gonna have this car, like, you know, like how engines last, like, yeah, I'll say like 10 or more years on average, unless you get a lemon or just a good piece. But more times than not, they'll last like 10 or more years. Maybe not the cars nowadays, but we'll see. Anyways, with an electric vehicle, well, you got like 800 charges, plug her in, and then all of a sudden she starts degrading just like your cell phone battery does in a year or two. So that doesn't make much sense. And then, as I was stating, the higher manufacturing, the higher emissions throughout the whole production of the vehicle and everything like that. So it's actually playing catch up. Then there's also recycling issues, just much like the windmills, a bunch of recycling issues. Can't recycle the stuff, or there's very small amounts of it being recycled. So that's not very green, is it? And then dependence on government subsidies. Like look at Tesla, for example, Elon Musk, which bastardized Nikola Tesla's name, which I'll get to here at the end of the video. But besides that, his company basically runs off of government subsidies, okay? Like literally, government subsidies. That's the only reason why he's profitable in that, in Tesla, is because of the government. There's no other reason. There's no other way. Then we have range anxiety and charging. So up here in the northern Ontario, if I was to go to a place, let's just say 3.5 hours away, and it's winter time, we know batteries don't last very long in the winter up here, okay? So never mind the electric vehicle with a big battery, which it might start off as like you get 300 miles or kilometers, whatever the case may be with them, or 400, 500. But in minus weather, guess what? You have to combat the cold draining your battery as well. So you might get like half, or I don't know, 3/3 of the actual distance you may have gotten. Then this brings up other questions. Why does he get stuck on the highway if there's a car accident? What are you going to do? How are you going to charge up? And once you run out of, or start lowering, like using your battery and getting less juice, well, then you run into other problems. And you know how the manufacturers say to save the battery? Oh, just turn off your HVAC. So turn off the heat is what they're saying. Turn on your heated steering wheel and seats. Ah, I see these bozos don't live in Canada, because the minute you do that, your windshield's gonna fog up and you can't see. And then you're gonna have to get very good at driving and scraping off your windshield, I suppose. So that's not gonna work, not very realistic or safe, okay? Then let's say you do get stuck on the highway and there's no one around because your battery died because it drained too fast. Now you're in a situation where you might die because it's cold out, that's why your battery drained, and you have no heat because the only source of heat you had was that battery that is now drained and dead. So you could die. Literally die with an electric vehicle, all right? And without crashing it, okay? So that's another point. Another point is higher initial costs in gas vehicle. I think a lot of us know that already. But I mean, that's picking straws there. Another one would be the strain on the power grid. Strain on the power grid. Why? Because it takes a lot of juice to fill these babes up here, man. These batteries. Takes a lot of juice. So much juice, in fact, it could actually collapse the grid as it stands now. So there needs to be a lot more energy production. So before this could even come to fruition, they really need to get the energy in order. And there is a way, I'm going to talk about it here at the end of the video. It's called 0 point. Nikola Tesla's real invention that they shoved under the rug. Anyways, so a strain on the power grid. And then a false sense of sustainability. So, like I said, there is no sustainability unless we can get all these power stations. There's recyclability. You're not digging as much lithium, but we're not even close to that. We're hundreds of years off. Most of the people actually promoting this stuff are actually own stocks in these environmental companies. Like take our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. That bugger owns Brookfield. And what's he doing? Oh yeah, he's going to print even more money than Justin F said he was. And he's going to be the central banker, Mr. Fiscally Responsible. Whoever believes that's dumb. I mean, he's a weft puppet. Like, come on, let's get real here. This guy isn't for you. He never was. He's there to line his own pockets, just like Trudy was. So, you know, that's all out to lunch. So always remember that. A lot of people didn't really question it. They just pushed him past the finish line. We had an election very quick, 36 days. Very quick before people could find out who he is. And that was Kamala Harris's downfall against Trump. People figured out, oh, okay, probably should vote for her. Anyways, that's a whole other subject. So it's a false sense of sustainability. There is no sustainability with this as it stands now because of the power grid and the recycling and just production of it all. In fact, it's so non-profitable for most of these companies to do these things, even with the government subsidies, that Stellantis, they closed down. They're not even doing the plant anymore, from what I understand. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever there, bud. You guys piss away all of our money like it's water. We also get charged for water up here, which is insane in my opinion. We'll have a video about that too. And then there's also the possible corporate and governmental control over mobility if we actually did something like that, okay? If we actually did all electric vehicles, they keep saying, oh, by 2035, nothing but a pipe dream. Nothing but a pipe dream. And they're going to have to spend billions and just put us into so much debt to even make it close to that. But our economy sucks here. We're too taxed. Okay? We'll have videos on that too. Anyways, let's just keep trying to stay on topic here. So control over the mobility. And there's patterns on this like I was saying before. Okay? Then we have Elon bastardizing Nikola Tesla, right? Nikola Tesla was the creator of something known as 0 point. It's not talked about, especially in the mainstream. But if you look it up, him and JP Morgan actually teamed up. Whew. Yeah, the oil baron banker himself. Anywho, Nikola, he actually studied the temples and found out that they're most likely energy powerhouses. Not today, however, just because of the landscape change and a bunch of other things. But he basically made his structure. I'll show some pics of that there in the video here. And in the structure, it was made to actually get free energy from the air. No, this is not a pipe dream. This is real. The Earth has its own energy, own magnetics, own frequency. And if we are able to figure out how to tap into it, we get free energy. Imagine how many people we can help out with that. That's why we're doing this channel. I'm tired of this shit. So we're just going to rant about it, and this is the solution. We get that. There's no more poor people. All they need, you see a poor bum, you go give him one of these devices, boom, he could create energy. Then he could create production, right? Without energy, you can't be productive for most part. Very difficult to be. Takes a lot of manual energy then in order to be productive. But if you get free energy, you can get free heat, grow your own food, create your own shelters, you don't have to pay any bills. Wouldn't that be something, eh? No more hydro bill. Now, having said that, the landscape of everything would change. Like people who work for Hydro One or Union Gas, that would go the way of the dodo bird. However, new industries would take its place. We would have unlimited energy at this point. And this is a real thing. They've even had cars running off this stuff in the 1920s. There's articles about that in 1921 and such. A good documentary to watch is The Lost Century. It goes through basically 0 point. It goes through anti-gravitational stuff too, which, let that be as it is. But the main one is the energy. So the reason why this never come to fruition is because JP Morgan realized, oh, this is going to be competition with my oil investments. And once he figured that out, he's like, oh, I better pull the plug on this and bury this guy. So that's what he did. And then shortly after that, Nikola Tesla's career went down the tubes. It's a lot of stuff stolen from that man. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest inventor of all times. Does not get enough credit for it. It's very sad history. But we should never let that be the last of him. We need to get this stuff going. We need 0 point. Why? Because the controllers of society, and the videos will be pointing out about this as time goes on, need to control the energy in order to control us, and also controlling the money. So we'll have lots of talks on that as well. So the solution for this video is 0 point energy. You don't need electric vehicles like that with a battery. We can do electric vehicles that actually run off the air. Isn't that sick? Isn't that mental? that all these pricks in government, let's just do more oil, this and that. Meanwhile, there's patents that have been buried. And we could be doing this. Like, why are we spending billions of dollars on this technology? Why? Because they lose control. That's why. It's all about controlling you guys. It's all about controlling you. That's why this is Banned Opinions. My name is Sheldon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, help me against that damn algo too. That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that, guys. Then we can keep making videos like this and whatever. But yeah, so stay tuned for the next video because we're very, very opinionated. And I understand not everyone's going to like my opinions, but there is some truth at minimum of what I'm saying. Actually, I do my best to be all truthful. So I know there's going to be people fighting against it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Do your worst. Keyboard warriors. Sheldon out.